In this video, we are counting down the best things to do in the glorious Montreux Riviera in Switzerland, saving an incredible train journey for last that is guaranteed to be a really good time. Be sure to stick around until the end as well for a free map with all these spots saved, along with other recommendations like photo spots and where to eat. Now, in case you're new here, hi, I'm Christina from happytowander.com. And this channel is all about practical travel advice from someone who's been there, done that. So be sure to like and subscribe if that sounds like your kind of thing. Let's start with an absolute must, which is to escape the modern and busy town center and take a long stroll along the water. This elegant waterfront promenade is home to Montreux's most iconic views, with countless quais or docks offering dreamy lake vistas and alpine backdrops, all topped with a colorful foreground of palms, flowers, and the occasional fun work of art, including statues of both the static and kinetic variety. While you'll find no shortage of epic views every step of the way, the area around Place du Marché is especially noteworthy, with its beautiful covered market fully decked in festive glamour during our holiday visit, along with the iconic festive Ferris wheel. While here, you can indulge in one of the most iconic photo ops of the city and say hi to the famous Freddie Mercury statue. This is a must-stop for Queen fans, standing on this very spot since 1996 in memory of frontman Freddie Mercury, whose affinity for Montreux's peace and quiet led him to record several albums here, a history that you can learn more about when you visit Queen the Studio Experience Museum. Housed in the famous mountain studios inside the Casino Barrière, this museum is a must-see for anyone with a remote interest in Queen. After all, they recorded 7 albums here and even owned the studio for several years. Inside, you'll find surprisingly intimate artifacts like handwritten lyrics on hotel stationery, as well as epic Queen items that most superfans would froth at the mouth over, like the drum kit used in the band's famous performance at Live Aid, and several iconic Freddie outfits. And yes, you can even sit in the sound studio at the very mixing board used here back in the day, where you can have free reign to remix some Queen classics for yourself. As a fan, I cannot tell you how much fun this was. Best of all, this entire experience is free entry. And hey, if the urge to deface a wall compels you, don't miss the memorial wall just outside of the casino where you can leave your own message. Now, if you want to get a little higher up, another great Montreux must-do is to wander the cobbles of Les Planches. This old town neighborhood of old wine growers' houses and narrow lanes is a refreshing change from the modern and fairly commercialized center below. One special highlight here is the Museum of Montreux, tucked in some 17th century houses covering local history, wine growing, tourism, and more. While in this part of town, you can also start a hike through the lush Gorge du Chaudron, which offers lovely trails where you can immediately become one with nature. Of course, when in Montreux and weather permits, you have to enjoy a lake cruise or tour. Spanning an impressive 580 square kilometers, Lac Léman, known as Lake Geneva in English, is the largest lake in the country, offering plenty of great sightseeing opportunities, whether from your accommodation, from a restaurant or cafe, or on board a boat tour for those keen to experience the magic from a new perspective. When the weather cooperates, there's no better way to soak in the region's picturesque views. But you can of course also use the boats as point-to-point transport, a very popular route being from Montreux to visit Château de Chillon. This iconic lakeside castle will be immediately recognizable to many as the inspiration for Prince Eric's castle from The Little Mermaid. But that might just be one of the least interesting things about it. Set just outside town on a small rocky island, the earliest historical mentions of this castle date back to 1150, so needless to say, it has plenty of stories to tell. Unlike many castles that only set aside a room or two for your perusal, this castle truly goes all out, with a seemingly endless parade of courtyards, rooms, and pathways that shed light on the castle's extensive history as a fortress, arsenal, and prison. And even some fun interactive displays like this wheel you could spin to assign yourself a medieval disease. Beautifully preserved with gorgeous lake views all around, even from the old school latrines, this castle has a lot more to offer than immaculate aesthetics, though it has plenty of those, especially during the festive season when fun decorations can be found all over. They even make their own wine here that you can bring home as a souvenir. But hey, if castle wine isn't enough to quench your thirst, you can also pay a visit to the Lavaux Vineyard Terraces. Situated between Lausanne and Montreux, this UNESCO World Heritage Site turns out some dangerously drinkable wines, especially their Chasselas, which is native to the region. Today, wine tourists have plenty of possibilities to choose from, whether you want a more guided experience through a tour, or simply a DIY option through the several walking circuits available to choose from. Grape time guaranteed. While here, you might also want a day trip to Lausanne, a beautiful lakeside town home to the International Olympic Committee, and therefore an excellent Olympics museum, along with plenty of epic views. On the way back to Montreux, you can also make a stop to explore Vevey, only a few minutes from Montreux by train or bus. This gorgeous little lakeside town is best known for two things: an outrageously large fork sculpture and connections to legendary British comedian Charlie Chaplin, since this is the town where he chose to spend the last 25 years of his life. Today, you can visit the same Lakeview Manor he called home, which has been converted into a museum about his life and work. You could also visit his gravesite, which was famously robbed just months after his death by kidnappers demanding a hefty ransom. For something more low-key though, you can also just pose with a statue of him, which is conveniently just steps away from Vevey's other top must-see, the 8-meter-tall stainless steel fork stuck into the lake. Among the largest in the world, originally unveiled for the 10th anniversary of the Alimentarium Museum of Food, also in Vevey. Those with a bit more time though can head down to Martigny for one of the most Swiss experiences you can possibly imagine. Because this is indeed the charming town where you can visit the world's only museum dedicated to St. Bernards. Full disclosure, this is a full hour away from Montreux proper, but you're about to see exactly why I had to include it. Barryland is a brilliant project funded by the Barry Foundation, whose mission is to protect, breed, and promote the iconic St. Bernard, a symbol of Switzerland recognized and beloved all around the world. So, to aid in this mission, they've created a full-on museum park where you can not only learn about the St. Bernards and their varied roles over the years as rescue icons, friends, and cultural stars. You can also admire them in real life and enjoy some more hands-on education if you get lucky. Housed in a new sleek, paw-shaped facility opened in 2025, this museum and park is the only one in the world dedicated to St. Bernards, in a pristine setting amidst mountains all around. When the entryway is paved with adorable St. Bernards like this, you know it's going to be good. Of course, the highlight here is the upper floor where you can see some of the Foundation's 30+ resident St. Bernards in action, with demos that showcase different activities from daily care routines and training to other miscellaneous exercises. You can even watch them enjoy their meal every day at 5 p.m. Outside of these scheduled activities though, the St. Bernards can be observed and adored from afar, whether they're partaking in some hydrotherapy or maybe just some naps. That is, if they aren't outside enjoying their massive outdoor enclosures, which they can access via motion sensor anytime they want. And if you're desperate to learn more about each one, which of course you are, interactive screens are also on site to tell you their names and plenty more fun facts. Now, if you can bear to leave the upper floor, the downstairs is home to a surprisingly high-tech education space that showcases all the different sides to the famous breed, with highlights including immersive experiences where you are even rescued by a St. Bernard yourself, and VR-powered experiences that teach you more about the region and history of the breed. There's also all kinds of delightful photos, and even an incredible postcard and stamp collection from Joseph Vuillet, a man who dedicated his life to collecting postcards and stamps with St. Bernards on them. Now, if weather cooperates, which it did not on our visit, You can also explore the expansive outdoor space, home to other animal friends depending on the season. And the on-site cafe does really good sweet treats and coffee for a dog museum, just FYI. Plus, they have plenty of fun on-theme mugs. All in all, a very delightful day trip from Montreux. If time permits though, I've saved one of my favorite experiences ever for last. Because Montreux is a great base for several train experiences, from short hillside funiculars like from Territé to Glion, to more epic journeys like the Cograil up to Rocher de Naye. Where at an elevation of about 2,000 meters, you'll get views from the Eiger to Mont Blanc and beyond. But really, if there's one train ride you have to do, it's to hop on the Golden Pass Belle Époque. 2 hours is all it takes to ruin you for all other train rides forever if you're a fan of old-style glamour like I am. While many trains pass through the famous Golden Pass route between Luzerne and Montreux, none do it as stylishly as the elegant Golden Pass Belle Époque, which connects Montreux to Swizerland in a luxury train with 1930s Orient Express vibes. Particularly in first class, where you get these plush green armchairs to drool from. The views on this journey are spectacular, with lakes, mountains, and glorious countryside views for the entire ride. Luck out with the timing like we did, and you might just find yourself in the heart of a true winter wonderland. We took this trip as part of our journey to Bern, but some choose to do it as a round trip from Montreux, often stopping in Gstaad for lunch, then heading back. However you choose to do it, don't forget to collect your free train station stamp and passport from the Tourist Information Center in Montreux, if you're into that kind of thing, which of course you know I am. Alright, thanks so much for watching. You can check out this link here for that free map I promised, and be sure to like and subscribe for more travel videos just like this one. I'll see you next time. Bye!